Tonight, sentencing for the Port Pirie parents whose 4-month-old baby was admitted to hospital close to death, and the Tumby Bay man who says his mother's been scammed of thousands of dollars straight from her bank account.
From our 7 Spencer Gulf Studios, your nightly news with Madeline Kerr begins now.
Good evening. A Port Pirie couple has been sentenced for the serious criminal neglect of their 4-month-old son. The baby suffered horrific injuries back in 2018, where he almost died. A warning, some viewers may find this story distressing.
Ebony Code was spared jail yesterday with a suspended sentence, but her husband Jeremy Capper was jailed for 4 years. It was back in 2018 when their baby boy was taken to the Port Pirie hospital after suffering from dehydration, kidney failure, severe nappy rash, a fractured skull and 2 broken ribs. The skull injury was caused by being dropped on the ground and landing on his head. The baby was airlifted to the Women's and Children's Hospital in a life-threatening condition. The child has since made a full recovery. The court said the boy's parents had failed to care for him and seek medical attention. Judge Calderker said Code was a victim of Capper's controlling and violent behaviour. She wasn't allowed to leave the house unless she was in Capper's company, denying her the chance to seek medical attention for her son. Code had told a psychologist that Capper was violent towards the baby and would spit on him. The child's bedroom was also left in an appalling state. The judge saying rat and mice feces was found in the room, cobwebs on the walls, and the room smelled like rotting food, vomit, and dirty nappies. Their 3 other children would be asleep on top of old food left in the bed, which were covered in stains. However, according to the court, the parents' room was left immaculate. Capper will be eligible for parole in 2 years, and Code will be subjected to a 3-year good behaviour bond.
Residents of the Eyre Peninsula say they've become victims of online scams, leaving some thousands of dollars out of pocket. A disheartened mother and son from Tumby Bay are now fighting to undo the damage.
Online scammers taking aim at locals from the Eyre Peninsula. Local Tumby Bay resident Lorraine Arnsbury fell victim to fraud, with online scammers allegedly stealing close to $30,000 from her accounts. Lorraine's son Robert Arnsbury fighting desperately to get it back.
They came across as if they were from the Bendigo Bank fraud squad, and people of that era are very trusting and believing, and they said that someone was trying to take about $2,500 out of a bank.
Scammers allegedly tricked Lorraine to install a remote access app, then proceeded to steal her money over a 9-hour period. IT expert Greg Williams is encouraging people to not give away the big red number if asked to access the website AnyDesk.
The scammer will often pretend to be from the fraud department of your bank, and they'll ask you to go to your computer and search for a website called AnyDesk. On this screen it's called Your Address, doesn't mean anything. It doesn't say, warning, you're about to give up control of your computer.
Robert claims that his mother never spends over $300 at a time, and the bank failed to red flag the payments after thousands were retracted, saying the banks have showed no remorse.
No red flags put up on her file. There's the first time payments issue is a massive one because they've transferred to someone else's account where it should have been quarantined for at least 24 hours.
Mr. Williams saying the banks need to be doing more to combat scammers.
Sorry, they're not doing enough to combat this. All of their marketing suggests they're doing a great job, but the reality is there are not enough warnings and there's not enough care about that first payment to new payee.
Allegedly, Lorraine's money was distributed to 5 different accounts, with 3 payments made to Bank West and 2 to the CBA. Robert calling for more action from the banks.
Bendigo Bank hasn't done anything about it at all. And their response to that question I put to the fraud, well, that's not our security measures.
They don't appear to make any effort to find out where it went after it left your bank account. Where did it go?
In a statement, Bendigo and Adelaide Bank says they take the security of systems and its customers very seriously, and highlighted the importance of customers contacting their bank as soon as any suspicious activity is detected. Police are also urging people to check the website security, ensuring that it has a full authentication system. For more information around ways to stay protected against scams, you can visit SAPOL's website. Henry Millick, 7 Spencer Golf News.
Still to come tonight, the local job programs enticing older York Peninsula locals back into the workforce, and the Electoral Commission's new campaign targeting voter disinformation ahead of the May 21 federal election. Welcome back. You're watching 7 Spencer Golf News. The Australian Electoral Commission has launched a campaign to fight voter disinformation ahead of next month's federal election. The Commission is asking voters to stop and consider the messages they receive during the 6-week campaigning period, including assessing whether information is reliable, current and safe. More information about the campaign can be found on the AEC's website. Older Australians living in the York Peninsula are being encouraged to get back into the workforce to fill the high number of job vacancies. The local jobs program and COTA are now exploring ways to fill the roles of more than 300 jobs in the region.
So many jobs to fill, but not enough people to fill them. The job vacancy rate across the Mid-North and York Peninsula is reaching a record high, with more than 300 jobs advertised, but experts say that figure could be double that, closer to 600. Government initiatives are now trying to encourage older Australians to get back into the workforce, as nearly half of the York Peninsula's population is over the age of 55.
At the moment, we know the cost of living is going up, and people who are on a pension can earn some money without it affecting their pension as well. We want to make sure people have access to that information.
There are a range of different jobs available across the aged care, disability and hospitality sector, with a chance to make extra cash without returning to full-time work.
We really want to showcase some of the flexible working arrangements that are available. And, we've seen employers really have to adapt since COVID. So they're really open to looking at different ways to engage workers.
The message being that retirement isn't a time to stop earning.
People who are keen to get back into work, even on a part-time basis, or to top up savings, or to use perhaps some additional income to get something they need. This is a chance to do that.
Christian Komenos, 7 Spencer Golf News.
It's a day of remembrance for those Australian and New Zealand Army Corps soldiers who fought and served in World War I. This year's Anzac Day Service in Port Lincoln will look a little different, with the return of the march set to make its way through the city.
A service that stops the nation. Port Lincoln residents will gather on the 25th, paying their respects to the soldiers who served for our country. With wars raging overseas, this year's Anzac Day offering a moment to reflect.
Generally, the community likes to recognise, especially with what's been happening the last couple of years, they think they've been through hard times, but then days like today make them reflect that really it wasn't that hard. And then, of course, with the Ukraine situation, people are really reflecting upon that.
Despite the challenges in recent years due to the COVID-19 pandemic, the RSL are pleased to announce the return of the Anzac Day March.
So there is a march this year. There'll be a dawn service, the march as well at 10:15. Everybody will form up at 10 o'clock. The march should only take about 15 minutes. We've had to review the actual route of the march.
The dawn service will be held at Ayr Park and will officially get started at 6:30. A range of events will follow, with Lincoln South Football Club supplying the food and drinks for the gunfire breakfast. The RSL welcoming people to join them throughout the day.
After the dawn service, everybody's invited to come back here. We'll do the usual tea, coffee and bickies, thanks to the salvos.
A service that brings up mixed emotions for veterans, but Gary is hopeful that the day will bring back Anzac spirit.
A lot of the veterans also feel differently about it, so in many ways the term Anzac spirit's been hijacked, and this is a day to bring it back and make people focus on what it's really all about.
Henry Millick, 7 Spencer Golf News.
Stay with us after the break. 2 weeks on, how the Spencer Golf petrol prices are faring after the cut to the fuel excise. And a Port Lincoln park gets a much needed upgrade, starting with the bathrooms. Welcome back. Upgrades to Port Lincoln's Puckridge Park have begun with the inclusion of an ambulant toilet. The project is further looking to upgrade the park's pathways and the adjacent garden with the aim to provide safer access. The build is jointly funded by the Australian Government and the City of Port Lincoln. $120,000 has been allocated to the project. The ultimate goal is for the park to become a drawcard for locals and tourists to enjoy. It's now been 2 weeks since the temporary reduction on the fuel excise came into place, and since then we've started to see the average unleaded prices across the Spencer Gulf and Broken Hill steadily decrease. With all the details of this week's fuel prices across the region, here's Mark Zeta.
Starting off as always with the average price of unleaded fuel in the Spencer Gulf. As you can see, petrol prices are steadily falling below $2 per litre, thanks to the federal government's announcement of the temporary cut to the fuel excise for 6 months. Broken Hill selling the cheapest unleaded in our region at $1.77 per litre. Port Lincoln, the second cheapest at just over $1.82 per litre. Whyalla, Port Pirie and Kadina all sitting in the middle of the range with the price of unleaded. Meanwhile, Port Augusta selling the most expensive fuel, but still far cheaper compared to last fortnight's prices. If you're heading to Adelaide, there's good news for you. Prices in the city, near the bottom of the metropolitan price cycle, with unleaded selling at around the $1.50 per litre mark. A sharp fall from a fortnight ago before the fuel excise was cut. Turning over to diesel, while prices have also fallen over the past 2 weeks, it's not a big fall like what we've seen from unleaded. Port Augusta, the only centre in the Spencer Gulf, selling diesel at over $2 per litre. Meanwhile, the other centres have average diesel prices sitting at just under $2. Like unleaded, Port Lincoln is selling the cheapest diesel in our viewing region at $1.94 per litre. Adelaide has seen the cheapest diesel overall at $1.82. Meantime, autogas prices have also seen a decrease since our last fuel watch. Port Augusta selling the cheapest LPG in the Spencer Gulf at just under $1.17. Port Lincoln with the most expensive. And if you're heading down in the city, autogas is selling at $1.07. Remember, the prices indicated are the regional average and do not reflect one particular outlet. If you see fuel for cheaper, let us know through our Facebook page.
Broken Hill's annual youth event was held today. The event saw local families flock to Sturt Park to enjoy some fun in the sun with free music, food and games, all provided by local businesses.
A beautiful autumn day, giving the kids a reason to head to the park. A number of local businesses setting up stores for Youth Day. The annual event proving popular again this year.
This year's event is going wonderful. We've had such a huge turnout with so many different local businesses and services participating and promoting themselves within the Youth Week.
There was everything from snow cones to sausage sizzles, ping pong to laser tag. The local kids having fun in the first week of the school holidays.
It's pretty good. I mean, I did scrape my elbow a bit, no blood, but...
There was no need for parents to get out the wallet as everything was free.
There's so many activities for the kids and all of this has been held for free by all the local and surrounding businesses of Broken Hill.
As for what the kids enjoyed most during the day, the results were mixed.
Seeing my friends here.
Eating sausages, egg yum.
We scooting down ramps.
While the adults enjoyed some of the stalls themselves.
The plant stall that's being held, so I do like myself a nice little freebie plant. So, but if I was a kid, I'd probably choose the laser tag.
The sausage sizzle for sure.
Joshua Mercer, 7 Spencer Gulf News.
Stay with us after the break. Whyalla's Footy Oval gets a visit from league officials, and we'll have the weather details for Good Friday with Alex Sykes. Welcome back to 7 Spencer Gulf News. To sport now, and it's just a few months until Whyalla's Bennett Oval hosts a SANFL regular season match between the Crows and North Adelaide. League officials visiting the Still City to make sure preparations are going smoothly. Here's Mark Zeta.
There's just 3 months until Whyalla becomes the football capital of South Australia. Sandful officials visiting Bennett Oval to inspect the facilities before hosting the North Adelaide Football Club.
Very exciting, both for the local region and stakeholders here, but also for the Sandful and our two clubs who are involved here in North Adelaide and Adelaide. It's not something we get to do super often.
The round 15 match sees the Roosters take on the reserve side of the Adelaide Crows, one of 3 Sandful games being held in regional areas this year. The match also tied to the hosting of the SA Country Championships that same weekend.
What it does is bring our best male and female talent in regional South Australia together for one big event and provides the opportunity to potentially go into a state league team.
League officials saying it's important to showcase the best of South Australian football to various regional communities across the states.
It's crucial that we get Sandful footy out into the regions. It's, competition's an aspirational competition and all our clubs have regional zones they need to service.
This is part of our region, so every SANFL club has a country region and Whyalla is part of ours. It's a great region.
For the city of Whyalla, the bumper weekend of football is expected to bring in a large number of tourists to the Steel City. Cuddlefest also happening at the same time as the Roosters and Crows are in Whyalla.
It's very exciting for Whyalla to be the host of this SANFL game, and I think it's going to be great for the community. All the AFL fans are really going to enjoy this game being held here at Bennett Oval.
Ticket sales will be announced at a later date. Mark Zita, 7 Spencer Golf News.
Broken Hill's beloved Penrose picnic train returns this Sunday after a 2-year hiatus. Originally based at Kintor Reserve in Blen Street, the Machinery Preservation Society says they're excited to run the locomotive at its new home.
All aboard! The Penrose picnic train is back at its new home in Queen Elizabeth Park. The Machinery Preservation Society's president, Rex Lord, enjoying the new facilities.
Well, as far as we can see, it's 200% better than the old place. We've got a nice shed here, we've got trees, lights.
Mr. Lord says he couldn't be happier to have the Penrose running again, with the help of council and also some local businesses.
It's a good feeling to see it going again. We've had a lot of help from the council, NJ and FabTech, Scott and his workers down there have done an exceptionally good job.
The locomotive will take its maiden trip on the new tracks Easter Sunday from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. and is a gold coin donation. There will also be a sausage sizzle and kids can get a goodie bag with an Easter egg, chips, art supplies, bunny ears and other sweets. After Easter, the train will run the 3rd Sunday of the month and the organisation is looking at putting on twilight rides when the weather heats up.
In the summertime we used to close it down. Now we've got lights, we should be able to work, say, from 4 o'clock till 8 o'clock at night or something like that.
Joshua Mercer, 7 Spencer Golf News.
Time now to take a look at what's happening in the weather with Alex Sykes. Alex, how's Good Friday looking?
It's looking perfect, Maddie. Not a drop of rain in sight. And I tell you what, today's conditions were spot on too, sunny right across the Gulf. At 3 p.m, Whyalla was sunny and 27, Port Lincoln was 22 and Woodner was 34. Looking further out across the region now, Port Augusta was sunny and 32, Broken Hill was 25, Port Pirie was sunny and 31, Adelaide was sunny and 23, Kadina and Cleve were both 30 degrees, Clare was sunny and 27, Cooper Pedy reached 36 degrees. Taking a look at the satellite image now, clouds stretching across western and southern South Australia with a trough is bringing showers in the odd storm to the far west and far south. Mostly clear in the state's interior with dry and warm winds. A marine wind warning also remains current for the Gulf. Moving on to tomorrow's weather outlook now, and we'll start with the Gulf waters. Southeast to northeasterly winds 10 to 15 knots, seas 1 to 1.5 metres, decreasing to 1 metre around midday. south to southwesterly swells below a metre, increasing to 1.5 early evening. A shower or two in Port Lincoln tomorrow with 25 degrees. Cleve set to reach 27. Woodner will be a degree warmer with 28. While it'll be partly cloudy and 27. Port Augusta will have a max of 30 degrees. Possible late shower in Kadina with 28. Port Pirie is said to be partly cloudy and 29. Clare will get to a high of 28 degrees. And across the border in Broken Hill will be sunny and reach 27 degrees. Taking a look further through the week now, partly cloudy conditions forecast for Friday. Port Augusta and Woodner both set to reach 31. Cooper Pedy with the top of 33. Port Lincoln will reach 25. Whyalla and Adelaide are both set to reach 28 degrees. Port Pirie 30. Let's take a look at that all-important weekend forecast now. Sunny in Broken Hill on Saturday with 29 degrees there. Port Augusta will be mostly sunny and 34. Partly cloudy in Woodner with 33. Port Pirie mostly sunny, also 33 degrees. Port Lincoln set to reach 27. Those partly cloudy conditions are set to come back on Easter Sunday in most parts. Woodner will reach 29, 27 in Kadina. Port Pirie will have a top of 31. Port Augusta is set for 33. Cooper Pedy will be mostly sunny and 35. Broken Hill will be a lovely sunny 31 degrees and a possible shower in Port Lincoln with 25. So, Maddie, keep your fingers crossed that the rain keeps away for when the Easter Bunny comes. And that's all the weather from me for tonight. It's back to you.
Thanks for that, Alex. I'll definitely be keeping an eye on the weekend forecast. And that's the local news this Wednesday. I'm Madeline Kerr. Thanks for joining us. I'll have updates later, but until then, enjoy your evening. I'll see you tomorrow. Good night.